Hey YouTube, this is part 7 of my Amazing Spider-Man collection. We are almost through. We just have to go through. Today's video will cover the last of the Amazing Spider-Man series, issues 600 through 700. And that's a complete run, so we'll jump into that in a second. And then after that, we'll go through Superior Spider-Man, the annuals, and all the other Spider-Man I have. And that'll be it for the Spider-Man stuff. So let's jump into this one because I've got quite a bit here. We'll start off with issue 600, where Doc Ock learns of 18 months left to live, and he gets put into his life support suit. (601) 602, 603, 604, 605, 606, 'This is the, I believe it's called the partial sketch variant. There are actually two variants of this. There's one with the kind of seal down here, and this is the one without the seal. So keep that in mind because there is a difference in value between those two variants. About 3 times the difference in value, actually. You got 607. 608. 609. I think these might be Alex Ross covers, if I'm not mistaken. 611, a ridiculously awesome Deadpool issue. 612 variant for the Gauntlet. 613. 614. 615. Sandman portion of the Gauntlet. 617, really awesome. This is where Rhino just becomes ridiculously awesome and changes completely from what he was before in the Gauntlet. 618, Mysterio. 619. $620. I'll have to look up if this title here is supposed to be faded, and it doesn't. It looks like it might be. I'll have to look it up because I don't know if that fading is supposed to be there. But anyway, 621. And that was the Mr. Negative portion of the gauntlet. We got the Morbius portion of the gauntlet. Morbius has always been cool. With this Spider-Man last issues, he's been made into a great character also. We've got the new Vulture for 623, kind of like an animalized, almost feral version of the Vulture. It is not Adrian Toomes. 624. $625, the Rhino portion of the gauntlet. We've got the old Rhino, and then we got the new Rhino square off. 626. Here starts the story off where the story ends off with the Juggernaut being chosen to be Captain Universe. That happens in a couple issues later. 628. $629. And I believe that's the issue that I was talking about earlier. 630, the beginning of the Shed storyline, which is just really cool. Pretty much the last 100 issues is just perfect stories. Some people may disagree, but for me, I just love the newer stuff. I didn't before, but this is some good stuff in these last 100 issues. This one is where the Lizard kind of, if you notice in the series, continues to evolve, I guess would be the way to say it. And he's turned into pure animal form, losing the mind of Dr. Connors. And in the end of the series, this is issue 631, the end of the series ends up losing his son because of it. And then is trapped inside the mind of the Lizard as Doc Connors. 632. $633. This is the final issue for Shed. Here is the Grim Hunt, which actually brings Kraven the Hunter back to life. These were the issues where you get the little mini-series of Spidey Sundays by Stan Lee and Marcus Martin, which is a cute little kind of comedic storyline. 637. And finally, almost 100 issues later, we get the One Moment in Time storyline, starting off with issue 638, where it finally explains what happened to the marriage of Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Um, it pretty much just sums up. Sorry. Takes the annual number 21 and alters it to where, almost like a what if issue, to where they didn't get married, they decided to back out. And that is what the new universe is like. This is 639, 640, 641, the last one moment in time. You got issue 642. This is a series of covers that actually connect together, I believe. Maybe not. Well, yeah, they do. And you can connect them together, and they'll make one huge connecting thing of all the Spider-Man villains. 643. 644. 645. 646. 647. 'And then we start with the continuous slot run that is still going in issue 648. The Big Time series where Peter Parker gets the job in the think tank Horizon Labs and just continues to be awesome throughout the series. We get a look at the Big Time suit, which we'll see more of in a second. We've got the newest Hobgoblin, issue 649. And here's a view of that suit in issue 650. $651. 652. 653. 654. This is the first issue where Flash Thompson becomes Venom. Different from what you'd think. Here's the first .1 issue. 654.1. These were kind of set to introduce people to other comic book series within a comic book series, so you'll see a few of these, especially currently. 655, Death of Marlo Jameson. 656, another cool tech suit. 657, kind of talking about the death of Johnny Storm that happened at the time, which was actually pretty big, even if he did come back pretty soon after that. We got 658, the Future Foundation suit, which I like a lot. And if you didn't notice, if you played the Amazing Spider-Man video game for the movie, they do have the Future Foundation suit, but everything is backwards on it. So where there's white, it was black, and where there's black, it was white, and it didn't look that great at all. If they did it the way that it was supposed to be done, it would have looked much better. $6.59, The Road to Spider Island. And at this time, you kind of see Spider-Man juggling a ton of different stuff. He's on the Future Foundation, the Avengers, he's got his think tank, he's got family, and everything like that, and you kind of see that weighing down on him. We have issue 660. Issue 661. Where Spidey teaches the Kid Avengers, or Avengers Academy is what they're called. 662. $663. $664. $665. I don't know what some of you think about next issue, but nothing significant about numbers, so I'll go ahead and say it. Issue 666, we have the Amazing Spider-Man Spider Island Part 1. I think there's like 60 variants for this issue from different comic book companies and stuff. Spider Island Part 1, issue 667. And this is actually the grade on it. I actually would have given it a higher grade, but beside that, you got part 1, and as you see, it builds the spider emblem each part, so it puts a leg onto it. You've got 668, $669, $670, $671, $672, $673, the prelude to, or epilogue, to Spider Island, where you see kind of a look at Spider-Man No More. $674, Vulture, the Adrian Toomes Vulture. $675. And I believe that this is where Yeah, this is where the gosh, the child of Norman Osborn, or Harry Osborn, is pursued after by the Sinister Six, and I mess with that. He's thought dead, and then they find him again and stuff like that. 677, Daredevil and Spider-Man with Black Cat. 678, $6.79, $6.79.1, we have 680, $6.81, $6.82, the Ends of the Earth storyline where Mysterio and Doc Ock and a couple other people actually stage a world takeover, and a bunch of main characters die from it. Silver Sable dies in the series. We got 683. Really cool. Another tech suit. This starts the decline of Spider-Man, as they say later on. 684, kind of where Doc Ock starts to take over, in a sense. 685. 686. 687. 688. More lizard action. 689. 690. 691. 692, we have the first appearance of Alpha, which I think is one of the worst ideas in the world. There's actually a rumor going around for a while that he was the one that was going to take over as Spider-Man in issue 700, which I'm glad that that didn't happen. But it's a cool cover. You get all the suits that have been involved with Spider-Man, or as many as they could fit at least. And kind of homages to a few covers too. And we got more Alpha, issue 693. I don't know what's going on with Alpha currently because he hasn't been around in the Superior Spider-Man comics. $6.94. $6.95. $6.96, The Battle of the Hobgoblins. $6.97. And then begins the most controversial story to date, 698, the Dying Wish storyline. This is where everyone finds out that Dr. Octavius is actually in the body of Spider-Man. 699. This is the book that started it all for me trying to get the whole Amazing Spider-Man series. I'll talk about that later, don't have much time to cover it. 699.1 covering the upcoming Morbius storyline that was coming. It's still going now. And issue 700, which I'm a huge fan of. I love how it ended. I've been thoroughly enjoying the Superior Spider-Man story. I know this is very controversial, so I won't go into detail much about it because I know a lot of people are still mad about it and even have stopped reading Marvel Comics altogether because of it. We have the second print variant. Looks like the cover for issue 300. The third print variant, issue 100. The fourth print variant looks like the cover of 400. And then the fifth print variant looks like the cover of 600. And then we got the mini series, which could have been put on its own even, but 700.1, 700.2, 700.3, 700.4, and 700.5. Next video we'll I'll try to cover the rest of what I've got for Spider-Man so we can finish off the series and go on to other comic books. Thanks for hanging on the ride. I'm about to actually record that last video now, but go ahead, leave a comment, everything else, you know the jazz. Keep subscribers coming, and I'll see you guys later.